tariffs, inflation, and the stock market, it's hard to read, listen, or watch anything without hearing these words. And it's way too early on to know how these factors are going to impact our housing market. But there is a lot of speculation out there. All we can do is dive into our current numbers and the stories behind them to help you protect your money. In this month's market report, we're going to give you the tips that you need if you're looking to buy a home or sell a home or even invest in the Tampa Bay real estate market. My name is Rachel Sartain Tenpenny, and I'm the broker owner of the Tenpenny Collection. I've been selling real estate in the Tampa Bay area since 2003, and I've seen all the ups and downs of the market. I read the reports every day and I listen to the analysts, but most importantly, I'm out with the other real estate professionals writing offers and taking listings at all different price points. So I see firsthand what's actually happening in our local real estate market. I'm excited to bring this information to you, and I hope it helps you when you're looking to buy a home or sell a home. So let's start by looking at what's actually selling in Tampa Bay. And for me, it feels kind of obvious. It's move-in ready homes. However, move-in ready means different things to different people. So let's define it for today's buyer. We're going to talk about what their expectations are and how it's impacting the market. In the past, sellers were skeptical about remodeling kitchens and bathrooms. They wanted to save the time. They thought they could just reduce it from the price or maybe even give a credit for those items in order to attract the buyer. However, that no longer works. Buyers expect a move-in ready home to literally be move-in ready, where they don't have to lift a finger or spend a dime and be completely happy with the home. Essentially, your HGTV fixer-upper with its old carpet and gray walls and outdated kitchens and bathrooms are not going to attract the buyers that you want. Not only do they want it cosmetically upgraded, they also expect the mechanics to be in tip-top shape. So if you have major components of the home like the AC or water heater or roof, all at the end of its life expectancy, you need to go ahead and make those repairs. Credits will no longer suffice to attract that buyer. I will tell you who will buy that outdated home, and that's the fix and flip investors. They know this move-in ready game better than anyone else, and they are buying these homes, remodeling them, and reaping the financial benefits. Of the homes that sold in March in Tampa Bay, the average sales price was about $550,000. These homes were 1,900 square feet with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. They sat on the market for 50 to 60 days and they received 97% of their list price. Also in March, we saw a 28% increase in the number of homes sold versus February. That's a big jump. And we're actually not seeing this amount of increase nationally yet. The spring market is just warming up. So as the weather warms up, the grass turns green, the flowers bloom, we should expect to see, hopefully, this impact happening in other areas as well. Now that we've talked about move-in ready homes and the average home that's selling in the area, let's look at who's buying these. Who are our average home buyer and our average home seller? And the most important thing to know about this segment of the market is they are not impacted or not significantly impacted by the volatility of the stock market. What impacts this segment are interest rates. So mortgage rates will make a major impact here, whereas the stock market does not. And recently, interest rates haven't come down drastically. They're in the high 6s, but they have come down from their high 7s, and we're starting to see that make an impact. It's not causing this big group of buyers to rush out in a frenzy and buy though. What we do know too is that interest rates started to rise. It's been over 2.5 years ago. So 2.5 years ago, they went above 7%. And if you just think about that, think about all the changes of a person's life, whether it's birth, death, marriage, divorce, work, or retirement, causes these lifestyle changes. And 2.5 years is a very long time to wait. So what we think is happening are prices have, first of all, they've stopped growing. And in our area, they've remained relatively flat. And in some areas, we've seen them decrease slightly. So we've got a pretty stable market. We have interest rates that have been sitting there, and buyers no longer want to wait. And this is causing the number of home sales to increase month over month. I just mentioned that home prices have stabilized or maybe slightly dropped, so let's look at that. From February to March, the average sales price dropped 3%, but that's a 7% decrease from just a year ago. Pinellas County is actually weighing down these numbers, and Pinellas County is your St. Pete, Clearwater, Palm Harbor areas. The average home price dropped from $642 back in March of 24 all the way down to $579,000 this past month. That's a 10% decrease. In Hillsborough County, though, the numbers are down slightly, only 3.5%. The decrease in the average sales price in Pinellas County is being impacted by the flood damaged home sales. You can get a full detailed report of this by clicking on the link below for our April's monthly market report. So if the average home buyer and seller is not impacted by the stock market, who is? Well, it's the affluent. The affluent home buyer and seller are much more sensitive to the stock market roller coaster. A recent report I read showed that 10% of the nation's wealthiest have over 36% of their assets invested in either the stock market or mutual funds. Another report from the Wall Street Journal showed that wealthy home buyers are actually pulling out of multi-million-dollar home purchases. This is due to the tariff announcements' impact on the stock market. This article covered home purchases from Aspen, Colorado to New York to Palm Springs. And most of the homes that were under contract where the buyers were pulling out were anywhere from $10 million to $65 million. However, this isn't really our Tampa Bay market, but there are a few of them out there. Currently, there are 19 properties listed for sale above that $10 million mark, with the highest priced property being a 5-acre lakefront estate that's currently listed for $38.5 million. Since the pandemic, Tampa Bay has benefited from an influx of Fortune 500 companies moving to the area. And with these Fortune 500 companies have come in high-earning executives that have created a surge in our luxury home sales over the past couple of years. But things have slowed down. In the past 12 months, the Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater area has only seen 3 property sales above that $10 million mark. All this to say, we're not in the ranks of some of these other areas with wealthy buyers backing out of ultra luxury contracts due to market volatility. However, it is affecting our luxury market, and what we're seeing are longer days on the market with very few showings. There is one segment that is still strong in the luxury market, and that's the $1 million to $2 million price point. Of all the contracts pending in the luxury market, this $1 to $2 million price point makes up 76% of the contracts. Okay, so let's boil this down to real simple terms. The average home market is impacted by interest rates. The luxury home market is impacted by the stock market. Overall, the market appears healthy, and here's why. Well, prices have dropped, but they've just dropped slightly. If you look back from 2020 to 2022, home prices nearly doubled. And they've remained flat for the last couple of years, and this slight decrease in prices have caused buyers to come out and purchase homes. This is a great thing. I've heard a lot of analysts talk about homeowners now have more equity and really low interest rates, and that they're in a great financial position. However, what I'm experiencing is something slightly different. Most of the homes I'm showing are from people who purchased them during the pandemic years. They were rushed into this situation. They didn't have options, and now they're regretting their choices and they're trying to sell their home. Buyers now, they have choices and they have time, and they're taking the time to make financially savvy decisions. After all, you should not feel pressured to purchase your most substantial asset. Okay, so we've talked about move-in ready homes, the average home sales prices, the luxury market, the impact that the stock volatility is having, And we want to wrap this up, as always, with some tips to help you make smart financial choices. My first tip, before you put your home on the market, make sure it is in tip-top shape. Remember, those outdated kitchens and bathrooms are no longer going to do it. In order for you to maximize your profit, you have to do some remodeling projects. If you need guidance on which projects are going to bring you the most bang for your buck, we have several articles on our website. Or just to make it easier for you, give us a call and ask us the questions. We have a professional design team that can help you. Tip number 2, if you're buying a home, make sure to look at homes that you can actually add value to. I know that doing cosmetic upgrades or major remodeling projects probably doesn't fit into the mix of your busy lifestyle. However, it might be one of the most significant financial choices you make. If you don't have the vision, the time, or the resources to do these major remodeling projects, we have people and resources that can help you. If you don't have the time, patience, or money to do the remodeling projects that are needed, expect an investor to purchase your home. We understand that everybody's situation is different, but what we want to do is set proper expectations. An investor's price is going to be much lower than what you may want. And the reason is because not only are they purchasing it, but they're taking a risk and they're putting money in to remodel it, and they want to reap a reward for that. So they are taking into consideration their profit margin as well. Lastly, it's important to remember that real estate is an investment. It's an asset. But unlike the stock market, most people who own real estate live in their investment. The full effects of the tariffs on inflation and the housing market will hopefully become more clear over the upcoming weeks and months. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you are notified when we upload the latest information on the Tampa Bay real estate market.